Rum of Rums Cakes, and I hope everyone is doing well. I trust that you've been enjoying the videos that we've been making over the last few weeks as we continue on in the season that I like to call Classic Bakes by Rums Cakes. So this week we're going to be making a carrot cake with walnut and coconut and a few other little goodies in between. The time is difficult, I know that, so I wanted to bring a little bit of love and light to the situation just to make us all feel just a little bit better. I don't want to do too much talking, so let's get to baking, guys. Okay, so here we are with all our ingredients for today's recipe. You know I like to give you a snapshot of everything that we're using. So this is a carrot cake, so we've got some grated carrots here, and then we're going to be using two types of sugar. So we've got caster sugar and brown sugar, and then we've got our chopped walnuts. These are the flavorings. We've got some desiccated coconut, some ground almonds, we've got some raisins just here, and then we've got our flavorings, so cinnamon, baking powder, baking soda, a little bit of salt. We've got flour, eggs, and of course some oil. We're going to be making this cake in 6-inch tins, which I've already buttered and floured, as you can see, and also there's a little bit of greaseproof paper in the bottom. The mix is quite a bit, so I'm also going to be making some muffins with the leftover mix. So yeah, let's get to mixing all this good stuff together, guys. Okay guys, so now we're going to mix together our eggs and our sugar. Now, if you've been watching over the last few weeks, you'll remember I always say lighten the mix first, so that when you add your sugar, and as soon as that sugar hits the eggs, guys, start to whisking straight away. You don't want random raw scrambled eggs. So give it a good old whisk together. Lighten it first before we add the brown sugar. If you were using an electric whisk, you could do that quite easily, but I always like to show you ways of doing it by hand. So then we add the brown sugar, and again, don't worry about the lumps. These get absorbed and melted in the cake tin in the oven when it's all mixed together. So give it a good old mix. And that's the first step. We're now going to add our carrots to the mixture, this being a carrot cake, so add half of it first, and as you can see, I've moved over to a spatula now, together with a spatula and a whisk at this point. So lightly add in your carrots, and then add the rest of them, and ensure you don't waste anything. That's the good thing about a spatula. Proper get every little nook and cranny. So, all together, the carrots, the sugars, the eggs, and the oil. As you can see, this is already a big mix and we haven't even started adding the flour yet, so, but it is delicious. Okay, next step. We're now going to add in our flour to this mix, and like the recipes before, we will add in thirds or halves. We'll see how we go. So once we're working with flour, guys, we need to be really gentle and patient with the mix, because we don't want to create gluten strands which will make this more like carrot bread than carrot cake. So don't overwork the flour. Once flour starts being added to mix, don't overwork it. So really be gentle We always say work with just combining the flour. Now the first mix you put in, you can be a little bit, not aggressive, but you can really work it in. And then once you start working in with the second and third addition of flour, be gentle. Now just to remind you, this flour already has the cinnamon, the salt, the baking powder and the baking soda already sifted in. So as you can see, I've mixed in all the flour and I've made sure to scrape the bowl all the way around the sides to ensure we don't miss anything or to ensure we don't have any unnecessary pockets of flour. So now we're going to add in our little additions, our little flavorings. So the first thing we're going to add is our coconut. And again, be gentle in the mix when you add this. And before we finish combining that, we're going to add in our raisins. And again, to ensure we're not over mixing, we're going to add in our ground almonds. We don't waste anything here at Rums Cakes. And then we're going to add in our chopped walnuts. Now, as I've mentioned in past videos, if you're allergic to nuts, just leave them out. I just like the texture, so does my mum, so that's why I add nuts to cakes. But if you don't like them, or if you're allergic, you don't need to add them. Okay guys, so let's now pour this mixture into our tins. Okay, so now we've got our 3 tins here. And as I've mentioned in videos past, if you were making this, or if I was making this rather, for a professional client, I would weigh the mix. But this is just for us at home and my friends and neighbours. So roughly work it at about, well, depending on the size of your ladle, about 3 spoonfuls per tin. And see how it settles. Oh, I hate making a mess. Sorry about that, guys. See how it settles in the tin once you've put it in. And then the third one. I don't normally show you this bit because you guys, I'm sure, get the gist, but let's just do everything at once. That way you know exactly what goes on. Yeah, I think 3 ladlefuls is good per tin. Any more than that and it will, because of the baking agents in there, it might overrise, so I just added a little bit to that one. The cakes are out of the oven now and I've covered them in cling film, and we're going to leave them now to cool at room temperature for at least an hour. Do not be tempted to try and cut them or decorate them or even put cream cheese on them, because it will melt off. They are boiling hot at the moment, so I'm just going to leave these now at room temperature to cool. I've cling filmed them to keep the moisture in. That's what you do with cakes. You normally even wrap them triple as much, but I'm actually going to cut off the tops to create flat tops for decorating. So, and these are the muffins as well. The cake took about 45 minutes, almost 50 minutes in total, on gas mark 160 or 320 Fahrenheit. So yeah, we're going to leave these now to cool down to room temperature. Okay guys, so we're back. We've been cooling the cakes now, I would say a couple of hours. I even cling film them and put them in the freezer. You can do the same, but it's completely up to you how you want to cool them. But just make sure that they are cold to the touch, because if they're warm, I promise you the icing will melt. So now I'm just going to show you how I decorate it. There's not going to be much talking. I'm just going to get to it. Okay guys, so here is the final product. This is my carrot cake with walnut and a little bit of coconut. I hope you guys have enjoyed following along on this video. I've definitely enjoyed making this cake again with a fresh take on the decoration. Don't forget guys, if you're going to make anything that I do, use the hashtag RumsCakes, or you can message me at RumsCakes, which is RUMS_cakes on my Instagram. Or if you have any questions, feel free to email me, rumscakes@gmail.com. In the meantime guys, take care of yourselves and I'll see you on the next video. Take care.